Julie, that was a fantastic speech. I'm going to go through some things I thought you did an awesome job with, and then I'm going to give you one suggestion and one challenge. First of all, the title of your speech got us all wondering and got us all curious and got us all tuned in to listen to your speech. And your introduction was outstanding. You have a BS in sociology, and you told us what you were going to be talking about in your speech. You set it up very well. You gave us a background of yourself. Your hand gestures were there. We could see your hands, your voice, very wonderful voice. Your organization was spot on. You said you're going to talk about 3 downsides to jargon, 3 tips that you'll give us to help with the jargon. Your opening was clear. You set us up for the speech. Your closing, you summarized. Your topic was very original and very fun. Nobody, well, I wouldn't have thought about talking about jargon. I thought it was great. Your background was fantastic. You're on the beach and you've got this little circle in the corner telling us what you're talking about. That was wonderful. So downsides, you isolate people, it's confusing, it's a lazy way of communicating. 3 tips: know your audience, be specific, and define our terms. So one thing I would suggest is standing up. And I don't know if you can do that with your background. In fact, we wouldn't have even known you were not standing up. If you were on a roller chair, you might just roll around a little bit and we'd think you were standing up. But if you could stand up, you could say tip number 1, and then you could move a little bit, tip number 2, and tip number 3. You could put a little more gesture into your speech if you can move around. And I have to figure out how you do your background, and maybe you have a remote that you can use to click to the next slide. So here's a challenge for you. Add a little more humor. You did say some really funny things, like when you talked about the corporate executive and he had all this jargon aligned with company goals. You could have just said, what is he talking about? And smile. Smile when you say these funny things. And that wasn't the only one. The next one was, it is what it is. And then when you start explaining it, you could just make a bigger smile and just start laughing about it, because that was funny too. And the way you explained it was funny. Those are my 2 things. One, a recommendation and a challenge.